Jordan writes, peace to the saints. Ladies, how often in daily life, my man said daily life, do you feel instant attraction to a man versus it building over time? How long does the process take for you?
So y'all can go ahead and say, y'all, it's me right here. So y'all can go ahead and just say it was like when I seen Jabrizi for the first time.
Oh, y'all foul.
Oh, righty. Super duper foul.
No, I'm kidding. But for me, it's pretty rare, honestly. When I see somebody, I'm like, damn, that guy's attractive. You know what I mean? But I feel like real relationships, at least in my experience, most of the relationships I've had have developed out of somebody that I've thought was like mediocrely attractive, and then like as I get to know them and as I get to know their personality, they become more and more attractive to me. You know?
Yeah.
I think those are the best kinds of relationships.
Those
honestly.
are the worst kinds of relationships.
Worse.
Are we serious right now?
It like what's crazy is like, I mean, like y'all don't be doing no choosing. Like
This is evil right now.
Yeah, we do. We process trust. Like there is process of elimination.
Trust.
There's like no. For me, a lot of it's like what you say. Like, you know, how you come off. Like I know right away. I'm like, this is not worth entertaining.
he too
Like,
player. I know, right?
See, the thing with you, for example, like I'll look at you and I'm like, all right, this is what's gonna happen. Like off the rip, she's gonna be like standoffish, like, nah, I can't date a guy like this. Like I don't see myself with a guy like this. And then like fast forward 3 months down the line, she's like, you know, when I first met you, I wasn't like really feeling you like that. But then she's gonna be in the deepest love she's ever been in her whole life. So I already know how like the whole thing is gonna go. But the thing that's not gonna happen is like she's never gonna be like, oh, we were friends before. That's not gonna happen, because I feel like you can only be friends with a guy before getting into a relationship if he's effeminate, he's a beta male, or like there's something weak about him. Because I feel like one thing that's never happened, I've never been friend zoned in my whole life. I feel like chicks, they're like, you know what, this guy is not like a friend of me, you know, like he's too masculine to be like my friend. Like I'm not gonna tell secrets to him unless we're in a romantic relationship. You feel me? I feel like you friend zone guys who are not that attractive to you. Like they're not like a guy where you look at him and you're like, ooh. Like it's not that guy that you're friend zoning, right? You're friend zoning the guy you're like, and then he just like weasels his way in. Like he keeps being friendly. He's being there for you. He's listening. He's being consistent and reliable and trustworthy.
Oh, you see all those things you're listing? Those are important qualities.
But
you can get dropped off like a fly at any time.
right. But those are important qualities. But there's this other quality of excitement and adventure and surprise and like and risk. There are those other, like you can't really have the same level of romance with a guy like that is those other things because he's boring, right?
That's what I'm saying with my quote.
But
every woman wants a bad guy to be good just for her, because they like that. They like that excitement, the adventure, everything. And they want the guy that's like an asshole to everyone, but they're nice just to them.
But
You know what
Diana,
I mean? They
though,
like that. They like that when they're like,
but here
they're
we go.
mean to other people, or not like mean, like, you know, but like they're kind of like whatever to other people, and then like they make you feel special.
they have a
That's
sweet
the
spot
thing.
for
Now
you.
let me stop you real quick, because everything he just said, he said there's a level of excitement, right? And then y'all talking about this slow Mosley thing that kind of happened where you're like, I wasn't really feeling it. I was like, and then it just kind of happened.
He was there,
right?
He was there.
And here's the thing, right? This is why I truly say, you say this quote, but I'm like, what he's saying is so on point, because you out here networking.
She networked.
For that
Yeah.
excitement.
Network.
And I'm like, see, in my head, I'm like, yo, like you only go out to the streets because the streets are exciting.
Ooh.
Like everybody knows street culture is exciting. It's not exciting to be around a square. But all of a sudden we find ourselves dating them, and then we going back to the streets. Then when we find a dude who's super duper player, we don't want to mess with him.
It's honestly, I look at it, it's like fear, right? Like it's fear of like, damn, like I would really enjoy this guy, but I want to I want to stick with them. Like I want a real relationship that's going to go on. And you know, the ironic thing, and this is why I don't listen to anything women say, because it doesn't make any sense. This is why I don't listen. Because like I like how she just swept her hair over like this motherfucker. But like, for example, like you are a lover girl, right? And even though you're a lover girl, you're over here with this story of like, well, I don't want to put all my eggs in his basket because if we break up, then I'm going to be like by myself and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to have to rebuild and take care of myself, so on and so forth. But I know that women's programming is different when they're with a guy that they're really into and they want to go the whole way with him, which is to say that like, if you're with a guy and you had the feeling that he didn't want you networking, you wouldn't be networking.
I think because he doesn't bring you a level of excitement, you got to like literally create it yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't necessarily.
No, you're not. You're not going.
No, I just said the same thing he did. So you basically just agree with it.
The things that I'm saying, you're not going to agree out of your mouth, but you'll agree with your actions. And because one thing I know is like in the culture,
to an extent, because you do want to like be respectful and like care about what your boyfriend wants, you know what I mean? And you want to make them happy, but it's always like it's a fine line because like you also got to do what's good for you, you know what I mean? And like, but it's like, do you not care about their feelings? You only care about yourself, you know? That's like what it comes across as. If you're like, fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want. You know what I mean? You can't be like that. But at some point, you got to be like, listen, this is what's good for me. And you need to understand that or else this isn't going to work out.
You know what's interesting? You both state this idea of assholes, right? Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting with people who are assholes means that they're very honest. Because usually they come off very blunt because they're telling the truth. And they tell it in a blunt manner in which isn't appealing to people whom aren't used to that behavior. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you're not dealing with someone who's somewhat of an asshole who can tell you truth, what is the other person?
Hello.
Are they a liar?
No. I think there's a
there's
a good way of saying things, like in the sense of like there's a polite way of being honest and not coming off as rude and blunt, you know, because you can be like, that shirt makes you look fat. Or you can be like, hey, babe, I like the other shirt you had on the other day. You should wear that one instead.
But Catherine,
you know,
let me ask you something real quick though.
So I think that's what like kind of makes the difference is the asshole will just tell you straight up. And then, but I think, you know, a kind man will just tell you a different way that's not going to hurt you or offend you.
Let me ask you this, Catherine. Do you feel like sometimes like you just got to be told something just really bluntly because you be hard-headed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. You know a nice guy won't do that, right?
No, I think the right person, and this goes for not even
the right person, right?
So even in a friendship, not even in a relationship, if you really care for someone, you're gonna be honest with them. You know, you're gonna tell them the truth because you love and care for them.
But here's the thing: you can't change their character. So if they never were like that before, you're hoping that they will act like that in certain moments, but they're not built like that. So you're dealing with people in which just don't have that in them, and you're hoping that it comes out. But realistically, you're protecting your ego because you're not surrounding yourself around people who are truly like that.
I do. I that's why I'm very selective of the people who I surround myself with. Like my circle's very like small in the sense of like, you know, I don't want to be told lies. Like, you know, you don't have to like tell me, like agree with me all the time. You know, if you disagree with me, I'm like, shit, okay, let me hear you out. I'm like, I know it hurts. It hurts the ego. That's the thing. Is like people don't want to be told they're wrong. I know that for a fact. You know, my boyfriend's is not afraid to tell me you were wrong, and I need to sit there. I'm like, shit, you're right.
So if you go home tonight, and I'm not saying you live with your boyfriend, but say you did, okay, that's what's up. Appreciate that. So say you go, he ain't in that game deep, but so say you go home and your boyfriend was there and he was like, how'd you enjoy the podcast? You're like, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. And then he's like, all right, do you regret not hooking up with one of the hosts, namely Marquett? And you're like, and you're like, nah, I don't regret that. And he was like, you're wrong. You could accept him telling you the truth. No, that you're wrong for that?
No.
Oh my God.
I know I don't want to hook up with him.
Ray writes, peace to the saints.
Peace to the saints.
Do you think families tell their daughters not to date black men, and is that why some women shy away? Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. That's curious. I feel like I'm gonna just, before they say it, I feel like you don't have to say that out loud. Sometimes it's just what's understood doesn't need to be said. Am I wrong? Mm-hmm. Some things you just know, right? Okay, now go ahead. We're gonna start on the blonde side.
I don't really like this topic because I don't like to talk about race like this. Sure. But the short answer is yes. I think people obviously do. You know, I think the vice versa happens in some situations. I have never dealt with that personally. My parents have never told me that.
That's what's up.
But I definitely know that does happen and can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Like, my parents are very accepting of, like, you know, whoever we date.
What ethnicity are you?
I'm Mexican, like full Mexican.
100%.
Yeah, both of my parents are from Mexico.
This is done. No, for real, you are going to love me. Just period. That's crazy. Is your boyfriend 100% Mexican?
Yeah, actually.
That's what's up. What's up.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay. I mean, my parents have never told me.
Mexicans are racist as shit, though.
They are.
No, they're racist as shit.
No, they are.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. They're also
yes,
funny.
they are.
Yeah. Nah. It's funny as hell though, because they'll tell you to your face. I kind of like that part. Carrying on. Shout out to the mariachi pimpin'. You know, they call me the mariachi pimpin'.
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, for real. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed. Rob writes, so if ladies hold us to this progressive financial standard, I like how he put that, do you think it's feasible for men to hold their women to a progressive fitness standard? Fair enough.
Well, how unfit is your woman to begin with?
I know, bro. I was like, damn, bro. Because I don't even really cross my mind. I just want to say, like, you're super fit, right?
I'm a dancer.
Can you just stand up one time and just 360 these people with just one time?
Yeah.
Lord,
okay.
The stomach ain't even there. Stomach is not even exist. Can you just you got a 360 at one time for the show?
Okay.
Exactly. That's true fitness right there, Saints. Can we get are you a pageant girl?
Yes.
You are?
Who told you?
I sensed it, aka somebody told me. Yeah. So can you just show these people what good looks like?
I guess.
Because they don't know. They need to know.
Okay.
You
She did the little
360?
hand
Yeah.
thing.
She did the pose too. Like, yeah, I'm trained to do this. Can you 360 us?
Okay.
I actually lost 10 pounds this year.
Why did you do that though? Where was it at? Where was the 10 pounds at? I need to know. No, where was it?
Distributed everywhere.
Oh, really? Like evenly?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I like how I gain weight everywhere evenly. I like my weight has like fluctuated like insane.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Go up and down. Yeah. But
I'm gonna need some thick pics. You heard me?
But yeah.
Okay, shout out. Fitness. I don't think you two haven't had any fitness issues, I'm guessing.
For me, I've been a dancer since I was 3 years old, so it's kind of always just like been built into my schedule, you know what I mean? And I also do Pilates and stuff like that on top of it, so it's like
that's what's up.
Yeah.
For me, it's more of a not necessarily fitness, but health. Like my biggest thing is like I don't want to get old and like not be able to walk. Or I've gone to Universal Studios and this broke my heart. We were waiting in the Harry Potter line for like 2 hours. There's like a couple in front of us, right? And they were older, like they were bigger.
Yeah.
They get to the end and they can't ride the ride because they're too big.
Damn.
You know? So that's the point where I think it's unhealthy.
When you can't ride the fucking ride, of course it's unhealthy.
So I'm like, that's like my big no, I don't want to get to that point.
And
that's why I work out and like try to be healthy.
Say you were at the ice cream store, right? And instead of this being a Harry Potter line, it was an ice cream shop line, right? Yeah, and these two fat people are in front of you. Would you have it in your heart to just tap one of them on their shoulder and be like, you shouldn't be in this line?
No.
What?
I would feel guilty.
Oh,
they deserve their ice cream.
You might have saved their life though.
No way. Nobody who's like that big and is still in an ice cream line is gonna take that
They're
advice.
probably Uber and Eats.
No way.
The
Damn,
freaking ice
okay.
cream.
I just want
They're
to
just gonna be like, "You're a dick. Get out of my face."
Gotcha.
Like, nobody.
Nah.
They're not gonna be like, "Wow, you're right. I shouldn't be here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eat healthy from now on." No way. It's got to be an inner
Baller
choice.
alert.
Baller alert.
Survival of the simp.
What? I love this, man. This is hilarious.
Free game, fellas. If she doesn't look at you like the best thing that ever happened to her, send her packing.
I could say the same thing.
Vice versa.
And vice versa.
How?
See, I don't.
Houseway.
Like, this is what's killing me about you females, and I'm about to leave this show and just let Jabrizi finish this one off because you guys are enraging me. Y'all are enraging me.
Goal and we accomplished it.
Yes, no, you're enraging me. I'm gonna tell you why. Because everything that's like on the male side, you want to flip it to the female side, right? So I asked you who's the leader, and you're like, well, we 50-50 leaders. I asked you who has the bag. You're like, oh, well, I'm getting my bag too. And then he just said, fellas, if she doesn't look at you, and then you're like, well, I could say the same thing. Well, are men and women really the same? For example, women are sentimental. So even if you're not the best thing that she's ever had or that she can get, she still might look at you that way because women are sentimental. But you should really want a rational man who's looking at you accurately for what you are, and he looks at the world in that way. Because if you're dealing with an emotional man, he's never going to be able to be a good leader, a good father, a good guide, deal with conflict appropriately because he's prone to emotionalism.
Do you think emotion is bad for a man?
Emotion is not bad, but untamed emotion is the enemy of performance.
Okay.
So if you cannot control your emotions at the right time, you can't perform appropriately.
I agree, because I think there's certain like circumstances where a woman, you know, might be really emotional about something,
Right.
and she just needs her man to like be strong.
Right.
In that sense. So no, I agree. I think there's a
Right.
balance.
So as unemotionally stable as y'all is,
Right.
y'all be wanting these really emotional dudes sometimes.
Right.
Y'all be wanting the Drake, huh? When a good thing goes bad, it's not the end of the world. Like, y'all want somebody to sing in y'all ear all soft.
And the other thing, I feel like if you're actually Mexican, then, and I know Mexicans, right? So if you're actually Mexican, you should really respect the patriarchy. You feel me? Like, you should respect male leadership and masculine men.
I didn't
Unless-
see some act out of hand.
You got somebody, you a new Mexican, like you more American than Mexican, like, you feel me?
Yeah. Well, I am first generation. So like I didn't
Oh, that's pretty fresh.
So I didn't grow up in Mexico. Like I was born
Yeah.
here. And I think that has a lot to do with my outlook, because I can say the cousins who live in Mexico, they 100% would agree with everything that you guys
That's
are saying.
what I'm talking. That's why I'm the mariachi pimping.
So, so the fact that I grew up here in the United States definitely gives me a
It
different
ruins
outlook.
you.
You know, because I was exposed to just knowledge and different perspectives that are not taught. Yeah, like completely.
Holosophy.
You know, so I because everything you talk about, I see in my household. You know. You know, but it can be toxic. Growing up in that household, I found myself very conflicted, because I'm going to school learning a different way of life and going home and it's a different way of life, you know, than what it is at home.
Yeah.
So
it's a conflicting culture.
Yeah, it is.
You shouldn't have went to school.
I know. I should.
Do not let your daughters go to school. You see what happens to them? I'm sorry you had to suffer through that.
No, it's okay.
No,
I be in my head thinking like, man, if you don't brainwash your girl, like the world gonna do it. Period. Somebody gonna brainwash them with some stupid stuff. They gonna just pop it right up in there.
Yes.
Now you saying like you said your cousins in Mexico would agree with everything we saying. I know what's their number looking like
for real.
They're already married with kids. That's the thing.
Okay.
That's
because
how
they agreed with the way that
that's what's up.
They're already married with kids. So.
But I know there's a couple that don't got no
she
kids.
She could set something up.
You just being a little.
Which cities are they in?
Honestly, if I were to tell you guys, like, no clue. But it's just like the nearest city is Aguascalientes.
Okay.
And that's like 45 minutes. But our population for where my parents are from, it's like less than 2,000 people.
I can be famous there. Like I will be the only black guy in that whole city. Like you can't steal nothing because they will know it's you. Okay, Ivan writes, I think looks are less important to women when it pertains to men. I agree there. Not themselves. I don't consider myself handsome, and I'm short, 5'6", but I can kick game and dress super fly and typically find success. Chutch. Thoughts?
Wait, what's the question?
That's exactly why I said thoughts, right?
No, hold on. Let me read it again.
Yeah, I got you, love. I'm going to summarize this for you. He says, women are not as into looks as men are. And if you're super player with the dress and the swagger, you know, women will let you get in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your boyfriend's what, like 5'7", 5'8"?
Yeah.
Exactly. You see how I knew that? Damn. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a prophet out here. Nick, that's the difference between F-boys and real men. F-boys look for constant excitement. Instead, you can have the same thing with the person you are in love with. That's a real player.
I feel like Nick is.
I feel like start snapping over here.
No, I feel like Nick is a woman. No, and I'm being honest. No, because Nick is a woman. Because Nick came in last time saying a bunch of crazy stuff. I'm like, Nick,
you remember Nick?
Yeah, Nick is a woman that I must know.
Okay, fair enough. I ain't even gonna name no names. I gotta guess. Lawson writes, peace to the saints.
Peace to the saints.
Ladies, what is your biggest deal breaker in a relationship? I already know what it is.
It's the exact topic that we're talking about right now.
I know what the deal breaker is.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm not good at lip syncing, but I just don't want to affect your answer. I'm gonna say it to the camera real quick. Mariah, read my lips just so you
put it on his lips. Put it on his lips. Put that back the camera on him.
Don't you guys look at the camera? Why y'all looking? All right, okay. Dang, they done messed it up. Y'all nosy. You guys are so nosy. Okay. What's your deal breaker?
Deal breaker.
She didn't repeated the question. What's your deal breaker?
Somebody who doesn't trust me.
You are guilty as hell, okay?
No,
I don't trust you at all.
I'm not.
Look,
That's
y'all
why
stay
it is
away
such a
from
big
her.
deal to me, is
Do
because
not
I am
slide her
I'm
DMs.
such a loyal person. Like if I commit
You are
myself,
not loyal.
and I will take a long time to commit to somebody. For
That's
because
you in them streets.
When I do commit to somebody, like I really commit. I really am
Diana,
not going to fuck you over. Like
how many people have you fucked
and I
over?
constantly have men that always think I'm gonna fuck them over.
Why do they feel that
my
from
biggest pet
you?
peeve. Because I am such a social person.
You've been in the whole Olympics going for the gold? You done won the gold, huh? You done won the gold. She done won the gold. No, why are we suspicious of you? Why are we naturally suspicious of you in particular? I want to know.
I think it is just because I am such an outgoing person. I'm such a social person, and people like to talk to me, like people, and you know what I mean?
So they think that you're putting yourself in harm's way. So they're saying you're an antelope putting yourself in the lion's mouth.
A gazelle?
A gazelle, yes. You're a gazelle putting yourself in the lion's mouth, basically saying, this lion's not going to clamp down his vicious teeth on me. Mm-hmm. It's fine. I know he's a lion and I'm an antelope.
I'm secretly a lion in an antelope costume.
She just said she has big dick energy.
She did.
Big dick energy.
But let me.
Okay.
My question is this: do women have a good sense that men are really skeptic of very social women? Like, just in terms of you're trying to find "quote unquote" the right man.
That's why I dumped Mariah. She be talking too much to humans. She be talking to people. Mariah,
not looking at that person.
Right. That's a good question, Jabri. Like, repeat that one more time.
In my head, I always wonder, like, women are social creatures.
Yeah.
So therefore, they should be able to socially calibrate anything in which they walk themselves in.
Yeah.
So they're playing dumb when they don't understand the concept
they
of
love that.
Men
Yes.
are skeptic of very social women.
Yes.
And if you're looking for the right guy, because if you say you're really looking for a man, right? You're looking for a man.
Say what?
Then ultimately you would understand the social dynamics between you and that man, and especially with you being so social, you would understand that even to a guy in which is secure in himself and all that,
right,
he will still find that to be funny because he's not a fool.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Like he's a wise guy at that point,
Right.
and you're hoping that he'd be wise to catch on to what you're doing, but really you're trying to fool him at this time.
That's not true though.
I just don't feel comfortable with it. Like, not even because I'm suspicious of you or even suspicious of the other person, just like on a cultural standpoint, I feel like it doesn't like represent me well. Like, I would not want someone to be like, oh, like, Marquett, I saw your girl hanging out with like George. I'm like, what is that about? Not even that I think you would do anything with George, because George is a weirdo, right? It's just that like I don't feel like it represents me well. Like,
and you know what? Even when you say represents well, like they don't know how weak and pathetic they make their man looks towards other men.
Right.
They don't understand that.
And respect is everything to men.
It's like realistically, like you get dropped off like a fly to a guy in which
you get brushed off like
you get brushed off because it's like you're ruining my reputation. Now, if my reputation is how I make money, the friendship you're playing with very dangerous things. Because let me say this: if you guys are to date a guy in the cartel and you're playing with his reputation, you'd be done.
Right.
So realistically, I know that you're not reaching for powerful men. You're reaching for weak men because they don't have a reputation, and you can destroy it all day and still kind of get somewhat of the benefits off of that. So it to me, it almost kind of like runs itself to like if you're running for power, to be what they sometimes women say, we want to be this power couple.
Well, she wants to be equally powerful to the man. Like she's measuring up her penis with his penis.
But like,
and they're the same size.
Jesus Christ! But all because you got a strap on, though.
Right.
It's synthetic. It's not real. You got a fake one.
Right.
I got pussy power though. It's even better.
No, I believe that. But no, on a serious note though, when you're saying these crazy things, no, for real. When you're saying these crazy things, do you at some level like understand that most guys are like, I don't like that. And I know you're looking at it from the perspective of like, well, I have to be who I am, which is fair. But I'm saying that at a certain level, every now and then who you are becomes a woman who does want to please your guy. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to please your man. Like, you know, there are women who like, they find their happiness in family and their husband and family life. And like, so they're like, you know, like if I can please my man, like I want to do what makes him happy. And most guys are not happy to know that you're out, as you call it, networking. So are you aware of that most guys don't like that?
Of course, I'm aware of that. But I just feel like anybody who's like close enough to me to where we're like in a serious relationship and you know me and my character and my personality well enough, like you shouldn't be worried about it.
But like we talked about the guy's reputation. So with men,
I don't think unless I'm coming out and like flirting with guys or like being sexual towards people, that's the only way I could see it hurting his reputation. If I'm just going around and being friendly with people and making my own connections, my own friendships, and my own whatever, how is that hurting his reputation?
I got a response to that when you finish.
So here's the thing: as a woman, your reputation, you can play with it all day. You could be a porn star, a hoe, all this and that. You will still get something out of life, realistically, and it doesn't matter because you can play with yours. But with a man playing with his, this is not a game. And you're like playing with people's lives by association. And I don't know if you ever like been in a gang or seen a gang or know how gangs operate, but when you start doing things on people's behalf, they get really pissed. And then you get looked at as an op. You get looked at as an op. Like, why are you here? like, are you up to something? Like, you a spy? Like, this is not the same, right?
And,
like, yo,
friendships with people would hurt somebody else's reputation.
Yeah, I think that's, and I think kind of going back to the original question, like, what's a deal breaker in a relationship is insecurity. Like a man who's insecure of himself, because this is pretty much stemming that I can't have a simple conversation with you guys because then my man is going to get upset. You know what I mean? Like that's,
no, he's punching the air right now.
Yeah,
like now he's punching the air.
And
No,
he's not. But anyways, but like my point is that you have to be secure of yourself, and that shows like that for me is attractive. If you're secure and you know that like we're both sure of each other and of our like moral like compass, you know, because at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna do you dirty. I personally am not. There are other girls.
Are you submissive woman? Dang, why are you so laughing? I'm cracking jokes out here.
I mean, It just depends on like the situation, I guess.
I already know your answer. I'm not even gonna have you say that out loud on this